He says the Gemara. Here, right now, I'm going to do the piece of Gemara that we skipped in class. Right? It's fantastic to do it. It's a great Gemara. It's a completion of things that we spoke about. Take advantage. Okay, we're on the first wide line on Daf Chav Zayin Amud Aleph. We just finished saying that Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim disagree about what time you're allowed to daven Shachris until. And we concluded that the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda is that ad v'ad bichlal, when he said until 4 hours, he meant ad v'ad bichlal, which means until the 4th hour and including the 4th hour. In other words, if we start the day at 6 o'clock, that would mean that he goes until 10 o'clock. Because until and including 4th hours. So 6 to 7 is 1, 7 to 8 is 2, 8 to 9 is 3, and 9 to 10 is the 4th hour. And so he means that you could daven in that 4th hour as well. So all the 9s he's allowed to daven. Comes 10 o'clock, you're no longer allowed to daven. According to the Chachamim, you're allowed to daven until 12 o'clock. So which is from 6 to 12 is 6 hours of the day. Up until Chatzos, midday. Fine. Now, the Gemara here is going to have an assumption, so we need to get this clear before we start the Gemara. The Gemara is an assumption. What does it mean, Shachris? When we say you could daven Shachris, what is Shachris? Shachris means is another word for the morning. So, Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim, the Gemara understands, disagree about what time is referred to as morning. Rabbi Yehuda holds that just like you're allowed to daven Shachris until 10 o'clock in the morning, or on a 6 when it starts at 6, so also the morning goes until 10 o'clock. And according to the Chachamim, morning goes until 12 o'clock. Okay, so let's get that clear. Not just are they arguing Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim with regards to what time you're allowed to daven Shachris until, but that machlokis also means that they are arguing about what time what time is referred to as the morning time. Okay, let's begin now the Gemara. Says the Gemara, Man Tana L'Hadit Nan. Who is the Tana? Man Tana. First wide line in the middle by the 2 dots. Man Tana. Who is the Tana? L'Hadit Nan. For this that we learned Ditznan in the Mishnah, that it says V'cham Hashemesh, like the heat, like the sun, like the heat of the sun. V'namas. It says whenever you see that little circle, that means it's quoting a pasuk. This pasuk, if you look on the side of your Gemara, you'll see it's in Shemos and Parak Tezayin. This is a pasuk referring to the man. It says in the pasuk that the Jews would, in the desert, they would gather the man in the morning. It says baboker, they would gather the man in the morning. They would gather the man. Then v'cham hashemesh v'namas, the sun would come out and it would melt it. And it says the Gemara, says the Mishnah, that's be'arba shos. Then what is that time that the sun would come out and melt the man? That would be until in the 4th hour of the day, the sun would start melting it. So they would gather it only until the 4th hour of the day, meaning until 9 o'clock. And then from 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock, the sun would begin melting the man. Now that says the Gemara, says the Mishnah. How did we get to this conclusion that it means 4 hours into the day, that the sun would begin melting at 4 hours? So Ata Omer, the Gemara is going to analyze. The Mishnah is going to analyze it. This is still a quote from the Mishnah. The Gemara is bringing down a Mishnah. Ata Omer be'arba shos. You say that it's in the 4th hour. O eino ella b'sheshos. Or maybe, what does it mean v'cham hashemesh, the heat of the sun? Maybe it means in the 6th hour of the day. Says the Gemara, no. Says Kishahu Omer. When it says though in the pasuk, Kichom Hayom Harei Sheshos Omer, it already is referring to the 6th hour. When it says Kichom Hayom, now this is, again, it's a little look at the circle, and this is a pasuk in Bereshis. This is referring to when Avraham Avinu, after his bris milah, on the 3rd day, he sat out in the sun, in the heat of the sun, in the heat of the day. says, and he waited for the malachim, he saw the malachim approaching. There the pasuk says, that's Kichom Hayom. So there we know that's the 6th hour of the day. So Hamani Makayim V'cham HaShemesh. So then if Kichom Hayom, when we use a language of Kichom Hayom, like the heat of the day, that means the 6th hour. So then we know that when the pasuk says V'cham HaShemesh, the heat of the sun, that can't mean the 6th hour. Because if it did mean the 6th hour, then the pasuk would have used the same language. It also would have said Kichom Hayom V'namas. It wouldn't have said Kichom HaShemesh. From the fact that one pasuk says Kichom Hayom, and another pasuk says Kichom HaShemesh, Kicham HaShemesh, we know that they're referring to two separate times, because otherwise they would have used the same language. So we know that Kichom Hayom, the heat of the day, is the 6th hour. So what is V'cham HaShemesh, the heat of the sun? It must be that the Cham HaShemesh is, says the Gemara, the last word in the line, 3 lines from the 3 lines down in the wide lines. The last word is V'cham. That's where we're going to start right now. V'cham HaShemesh V'namas is Ba'arba Shos. That's referring to the 4th hour of the day. Now says the Gemara like this. Now that's the finish. That's the end of the Mishnah. Now the Gemara is going to start analyzing this. So Mani. Who is it? We're going back to our question that we started with. Who is this Tana? Mani. Who is it? Lo Rabbi Yehuda, v'lo Rabbanan. It's not going to be like Rabbi Yehuda, comma, v'lo Rabbanan, comma. It's not going to be like either of them. Why? Explains the Gemara. Because Rabbi Yehuda, if it's like Rabbi Yehuda, it can't be. Ad arba shos, nami tzafrahu. Until 4 hours is the morning still. Right? And this Mishnah says that the morning was up until 9 o'clock. And from 9 to 10 was already Kichom HaShemesh. How come? How do we see that? Because it says in the pasuk by the man that they gathered the man in the morning, and then the sun came out and melted it. In the heat of the sun it melted. And we just figured out that V'cham HaShemesh means from 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock. It means in the 4th hour. The 4th hour already, the sun was melting. So it can't be Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbanan, and it's even simpler that it's not the Rabbanan. Rabbanan, ad chatzos nami tzafrahu. All the way until chatzos is also the morning time. Right? All the way until 12 o'clock is still considered morning. So it can't be the Chachamim. This Mishnah holds that the morning goes until 9 o'clock. Till 3 hours into the day. But the 4th hour, the beginning of the 4th hour already, is the Cham HaShemesh time. It's the time when the sun is hot. Says the Gemara, no. Right? So this causes a problem over here, because we know, we never have another opinion about what time you can daven Shachris until. We know there's the Rabbi Yehuda, we know the Chachamim, but we never had anybody that said the morning goes only until 9 o'clock. Morning went right? The earliest that morning stopped was 10 o'clock. So who is this? Who is talking over here in this Mishnah that says the morning stops at 9 o'clock? Says the Gemara, no. Iba Yisema Rabbi Yehuda and Iba Yisema Rabbanan. If you wish, you could say it's like the Rabbi Yehuda, or if you want, you could say it's like the Rabbanan. It could be either one. It could go like Rabbi Yehuda, or like the Rabbanan. Both of them could hold that the sun came, that the V'cham HaShemesh time is 9 o'clock, and the sun was melting it. The sun was melting the man at 9 o'clock. How could that be, though? Explains the Gemara. Iba is Ema Rabbanan. If you wish, you could say it's like the Rabbanan. How come? Because Amar Kra, it doesn't just say, it says the pasuk says, we're about to start the first word on the line, Baboker. It says that they gathered the Haman in the morning. It says in the early morning. It doesn't just say in the morning they gathered it. It says baboker. It says 2 times it says boker. It says the Gemara, the Chachamim can learn the pasuk like this. Chalkeu l'shnei bakarim. It means to say that they broke up the morning into 2 parts. That's what it means. In the first half of the morning, when it says baboker, it means to say in the first half of the morning they gather the man, and immediately after the first half of the morning, it began to melt. So what is that? If the day starts at 6, and it goes for midday is at 12, so for 6 hours is morning time. So what's that? So if you break it into half, it goes perfectly that at 9 o'clock already, right? It's 6. So it's half of that is 3. So 6 to 9 is the first half, and 9 to 12 is the second half. So the first half they gathered from 6 till 9 they gathered them on, and then starting at 9 o'clock at the heat of the sun it began to melt. So it cooks perfectly like the Chachamim. The Iba Yisema Rabbi Yehuda, and if you wish you could say it's going according to Rabbi Yehuda. How? Hi Boiker Yisera, this word Boiker, this extra word Boiker, is coming lahaktim lo sha'achas. It's coming to say it comes early. It's an early time in the morning, 1 hour earlier in the morning, right? So the morning goes until 10 o'clock. They would gather it in the early part of the morning up until 9 o'clock. Okay, finished, finito. We have clearly the Brisa, the Mishnah could be either like Rabbi Yehuda or like the Chachamim. Now comes the Gemara and says, we don't feel so smart over here. The Gemara seems to have everybody seems to have an understanding that B'cham Hashemesh v'nomas, that when the pasuk says the heat of the sun came and it melted it, everybody seems to have an understanding that it was at 4 hours into the day. So says the Gemara, Dekule Alma, everybody holds Mia, however, V'cham Hashemesh v'nomas, that in the heat of the sun it came and melted. It melted it in the heat of the sun. Was ba'arba shos, was in 4 hours. Says the Gemara, my mashma, who is it? How? What is the inference? Where do we infer from the words v'cham hashemesh that it means 4 hours into that, in the beginning of the 4th hour, that time was the cham hashemesh? Says the Gemara like this. Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov. So our friend who we're whispering to, we're sitting there at the crowd, we're whispering. Everybody seems to understand this. Rav Acha bar Yaakov is going to come to our aid. Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov. Amar Kra, the pasuk says, "V'cham hashemesh v'namas." It said when the heat of the sun comes, it will melt. So Ezehi Shah, which hour is it? Ezehi, the first one line is he. Ezehi Shah, which is the hour? Shashemesh cham, where the sun is hot, v'atzel tzonin, and the shade though is cool. Havi omer ba'arba shos. It's in the 4th hour. When it says the heat of the sun, it means not when the sun is the hottest, but rather when it's hot in the sun, but in the shade it's cool. And which hour is that you could go into the shade and still you could feel cool from it? Havi omer ba'arba shos. That's in the 4th hour. Okay, very good. So we finished. Now that's the end of this recording. We're not going to do any more Gemara in this recording. I'm just going to speak it out again if you want. Outside. So the Gemara had this question. It said, "V'cham hashemesh v'namas." We wanted to know who was the Tana that says "V'cham hashemesh v'namas" means the 4th hour of the day, right? Because meaning starting at 9 o'clock is 9 till 10 is the 4th hour of the day. Who says that V'cham hashemesh is that time? Said the Gemara originally thought that it couldn't be like anybody, so we were in big troubles. Who could it be like? Says the Gemara that no, it could be going like Rabbi Yehuda, and it could be going like the Chachamim, there's no problem, because really V'cham hashemesh is not coming after the morning, it's during the morning time, V'cham hashemesh. It's after the morning time, the baboker, it's after that, which according to the Chachamim, baboker means the first half of the morning, and according to Rabbi Yehuda, baboker means to tell us an earlier time of the morning, meaning 1 hour off of the morning time, when there's still an hour left till the morning. So V'cham hashemesh is after that. Is it morning time? Yeah, it's still the morning time. It's still the time that we refer to as morning. So it could fit, therefore, V'cham hashemesh, even though V'cham hashemesh was at 9 o'clock, it could be going like the Chachamim, or it could be like Rabbi Yehuda, because the Rabbi Yehuda holds that the morning goes until 10 o'clock, but still V'cham hashemesh is happening 1 hour during the morning hour, and according to the Chachamim, it's happening. V'cham hashemesh starts immediately after the first half of the morning hour. Okay, the next recording will be following soon.